grab some URLs. So what I thought I could do, I've got a test site that I can just kind of talk around some of the settings I've found useful. So let me just grab this. See if I can share the right screen. So hopefully you can see that. So that's, let me just go to the test site. So the add-on I installed was the BadgeOS stack. And what that does is it creates basically an additional list of stuff. So without that, you probably get achievement submissions and further down as options. So it all hangs off achievement types. So these are basically categories or kind of folders of badges that you want to award. So you can have different types. You might just want one called badges, or you want different things. So within Octel, we decided to break it up into weeks. And I'll show you why that was useful in a second. So you can create as many of these different types as you want. There's very basic information that you can include. The main thing to check is that you've got this show in the menu. So that means it appears in this menu for you to add additional bits and pieces. If you're doing the open badges bit, if you're setting the image, it needs to be a PNG image. Or open badges will just reject it. So you can create as many different achievement types as you like. So let me just go into one. So here's one. So it's got no badges in it. And this is where you start making individual badges. So I click on Add New and give it a name. And you can give short description. So I was using the short description as the badge criteria. So this is where you can give instructions for how to receive the badge and what the criteria is. So set the image. Let me see if this is a PNG. Yeah, so that's a PNG. So we can use that. And now the interesting bit is you've got this how the badge is awarded. So I think this might. So let me just check. See. Let me just see. I think I haven't got. There's a community add-on, so that if you're using BuddyPress, I think you can get more options in terms of people doing stuff in the community, so updating their profile and things like that. but I haven't got that add-on installed in this version. But so basically you've got different ways in terms of how the badge is awarded. For some of these, we were just doing an auto accepted, so they just click a button. So we did a check-in badge, click the button, and they immediately received the badge. Other ones you might want to review, so you know, within your criteria, you might include instructions for you know, the steps. You know, for us, we were saying include a link to your evidence in the box. The other ones, so the other one that we used a lot of is completing steps, and this is where categorizing our badges into weekly stuff is useful, because you're categorizing it into an achievement type. So you can say, for example, we were doing so we're saying if you received, sorry, any of the achievement type of a certain type, so week 1 example, so if you received 3 badges from week 1, that would be a step that would automatically mean you were awarded a different badge. So in our example, if you got 3 different badges in the week, so we had a check-in, a webinar, a basic activity, and a more advanced activity. If you got 3 of those badges, then you automatically got a topic badge. Which is a nice feature, and I think we're going to explore more ways of actually doing that. So you know, with the community add-on, you can basically use steps within BuddyPress. So updating their profile, for example, would be a step that you might want to use. The other thing we found quite useful was we didn't do any of the sequential step stuff, but that's another option, was to actually show the earners of the badge on the page, and that was helpful, particularly, you know, for something like well, all the badges. For within open courses, the big struggle is, you know, the feeling of isolation, you know, making those connections, and so by letting them see who else had achieved the badge, then you know, they could make the connection. They could see who else was on the course. It might be someone that they might want to connect with, and they could look at their profile to pick up bits and pieces of that. So that's kind of the basic badge design. I've got you muted right now, David, because it was a bit noisy in the background, but is there anything particular with this part that you have questions about, or is it the next stage where you're tripping up a bit? You still there, David?
Hello?
Hi there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I forgot to unmute myself. Yeah, I think I've got. Yeah, I mean, I've got a PNG badge, and I've set it up. And what I did is actually the one I'm just trying. I just did for the submission auto accept, and I do want to try at some stage the completed steps, but I guess at the moment I'm just trying to see if I can get the thing to work. So I think I've got this part pretty much sorted, and using the excerpts and what have you, because I was watching the tutorials on the BadgeOS website, which were quite useful, but then again may have actually confused me more than I was. So, and I think it's the next step, actually getting the badge on there.
So, okay, so for the badge display, there was a couple. Let me just stay on that page, and I'll just quickly publish that. So we used two techniques within this. So because we were categorizing for each week, what we did was we created a new page, and this is a nice feature that just came in the last version, is that they've got these shortcodes.
Okay, I was wondering about this. Yep.
So we wanted to put in an achievement list. So this is basically your group of badges. So I just added one into the badges category, and so you've got other options there about filtering, but we just kept with the very basic. And so if I badge page, so if I publish that, you just open a new tab. And
I'm doing it at the same time as you here.
So that page would basically list all the badges that you've got within an achievement type.
Okay.
So if I just quickly go to Octel, so for basically each of these are badges with that shortcode in, and you can see it's got the different types of badges in there. It's nice because it grays out the badges that you haven't got, so you can see immediately if someone can go through and see which ones they're missing and click them. The other thing we did within Octel was each week we have a set of course material, instructions and content, and what we did was include the badges in the page. Let me just show you how you do that. So again, this is made a lot easier with the shortcode stuff. So you'll see in the page it's got these shortcodes for individual achievements.
Yeah.
So let me just. So you can just select an individual achievement. This has made it a lot easier in terms of selecting stuff. Although, it's because we basically duplicate the same type of badge each week. It's hard for us to identify which one. But we didn't have this feature when we originally were doing this. So the achievement ID that it uses is basically the post ID. So I think if you name your badges a bit better, it'll be easier for you to do that. Just with the shortcode tool, and you can put in as many as you like in the page. We were just including them at the points that were relevant, and that's it essentially. So when they render on the page, the text you see is the title. We're using points, and this text is the excerpt field. So within the excerpt, we were giving some instructions so to make it a bit more meaningful. So to actually get the check-in badge, click on the link, which takes you to the individual badge page. And this is where it's basically showing who else has achieved the badge. Let me see, week 6. Okay, that's why there aren't that many for this week. This region here is something that just the tutors see. Usually, all you see is the submission, the badge submission form, which is a file upload and a text area with a submit button. So yeah, that's basically that bit.
Okay, that makes it a lot easier. That was the bit I was missing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was what I wasn't understanding, because I saw that. Yeah, that short code, but I wasn't sure of how to use it, and now that's the bit I was missing. So at the moment, I think what I've done is just using the Credly.
Yeah.
But your plugin actually means that you're issuing it yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah. So with BadgeOS, you've got Credly integration, which means that when someone receives a badge, if you've switched it on, basically the person, I think they get an email,
Yeah.
which allows them to add it to their Credly account. So they obviously need one set up, which then gives them options of then sharing it to Mozilla Backpack and other places. But the actual badge data is in Credly, and so what we've done is we've just exposed the badge data in the site. So we're basically hosting open badges. They work on, the specification has this assertion file, which is just a data file with details about the badge. And so what we're doing is hosting that locally, and it means that a bit like the other pages within BadgeOS, we've got this page here, and it's got a short code. So this is the BadgeOS Backpack push short code, which is similar to listing the badges, but what that does is list all the badges that the logged in user has achieved.
Yeah.
And then we can basically choose which ones we want to send to Backpack. So let's see, right. So just clicking on, I can select lots of them, and it just brings up the what kicks off the Mozilla issuing stuff. So if anyone that's done pushing badges to Backpack before, they should recognize these screens, because it's using the standard Mozilla code to do that. So there, it's added the badge into the Backpack, and we can go back. So for people interested, I'll just show you what this is doing. Is each of these badges is now living on our site. So here's our web address, and basically it's an API endpoint that we've created. So each one of these includes the achievement ID, so the badge basically. We include basically a time stamp in it, and the last bit is the user ID on WordPress. So each of these is unique to the user, and it just contains all the information that the Backpack needs to recognize it as a badge. So that's one of the considerations, is that if you lose, if you drop the website or change its address, then you're going to break the chain of authentication in terms of the badge. So that's kind of the main consideration to have.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And so, just quickly, last thing in the back here is that with the open badges stuff, we actually there's a settings page which gives you some information about setting this up, and also
I haven't got that. Interesting.
it should appear in the menu.
No, I've got nothing under the help and support. I've got the BadgeOS, I've got the Open Badges Issuer add-on. That's active.
Okay. Okay, that might be a bug.
It's a self-hosted website, WordPress.
Can you just try and let me just go into this one.
I haven't got BuddyPress installed. That wouldn't do anything about it, would it?
It shouldn't be an issue. If you put in, so within WordPress admin, if you put in just the end bit of the URL, so just add
admin PHP Christmas badges. Admin.php question mark page equals open badges issuer. You do not have sufficient permission to this page. Interesting.
Right. Within your BadgeOS settings.
Yep.
Are the minimum rule for?
Yep, administrator, both of them.
Okay.
I don't have the show achievements earned across all sites. Okay, I probably don't need that over network, but yeah.
I've got that disabled as well.
Yeah.
I wonder where it's missing. Let me just quickly look at. So it'll be the settings. It might be that they've. I'll have to dig in because it might be that BadgeOS has changed.
Okay.
Where they stored a minimum rule. So I'll look into that.
Okay.
So there should be a page that gives you a bit about how to display the backpack push. The other thing that we came across was that we'd registered people with quite often with their work email address, and their backpack was on their personal email address.
Yeah.
And what this does is, if there are various plugins that let you specify different profile fields within WordPress, and what you can do is actually select a different field for the email address. So if we've specified one called alternative email, which lets them basically use the same email address. The user enters the same email address that they use for Backpack to get around that issue. And also, currently, when you issue the badges, the default is to just pull the site name and URL as the organization, which I've spelled wrong. That's another bug for me to pick up. And you can actually override those things with, a different name, a different URL, organization, and so on. the last thing, just to quickly show, is that as part of the Open Badges issuer stuff, it actually has a log of all the badges that get pushed to Backpack, which is useful for you if you want to see why certain badges failed. So we've got a fail here.
Okay, yep.
It's coming up reason denied, which I'm guessing is a mismatch with their email.
Yep.
So it's this is unfortunately about the extent of the information that you get back from Mozilla. You'll get a very basic error message, but you soon pick up on these, and you
right.
But yeah, I think that's. I'll look at why this menu isn't appearing for you.
Okay, thanks. Cheers, Martin.
Okay.
Yep, thank you very much. I think that's pretty much it. I'll probably have a few more questions for you, but I'll see what I can get done. But I mean, for the moment, I'm happy with the Credly.
Yeah.
Just so I can get it working, see how it works. Marvelous.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Martin. Much appreciated.
Okay then. So Ben, Ben, it's on GitHub, GitHub/mHawksey Open Badges issuer add-on. Not sure there's an easy way for me to post that into. Let me just quickly look in Hangouts just to see if I can put that as a link. It's probably the slowest way of doing it. So here is Open Badges issuer. Let me see if there's anything else just to pick up. Sorry, Nigel, for not seeing that quick enough and locking the screen, but hopefully you can pick up. Oh yes, and Nigel has also provided that there is the BadgeOS stuff, which has all the basic plugin and add-on that they've developed, and the last bit I was showing David there was the Open Badges issuer add-on that we'd actually developed, which means that you can host Open Badges on your own WordPress site. And I think that's it. So hopefully that was useful, and if there's any questions, you can always ping me, and I can try and help you out. Bye.